Benjamin Netanyahu, born on October 21, 1949, in Tel Aviv. Israel is one of the most controversial and polarizing figures in modern politics. A towering presence in Israeli leadership for decades, he has served multiple terms as prime minister, shaping the nation's domestic and foreign policies in ways that have cemented his legacy, both as a staunch defender of Israeli interests and as a figure deeply entangled in corruption, war crimes, allegations, and international outrage. Netanyahu was born into a highly intellectual and politically active family. His father, Benzion Netanyahu, was a historian with extreme right-wing views, and his influence shaped Benjamin's hardline approach to Israeli security. In 1956, the Netanyahu family moved to the United States when Benzion took an academic position. Young Benjamin grew up in a privileged environment, attending elite schools in the US and later studying architecture and management at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT. During his time in the US, he also studied political science at Harvard, refining the skills that would later help him become one of the most eloquent and media-savvy politicians in Israeli history. Despite his years abroad, Netanyahu maintained close ties with Israel. In 1967, during the Six-Day War, he returned to enlist in the Israel Defense Forces, IDF, volunteering for the elite Sayeret Matkal Special Forces Unit. He participated in high-risk counterterrorism operations, including the famous 1972 Sabena Airlines hijacking rescue mission. His military service shaped his public image as a strongman who understood security issues firsthand, but it was also marked by personal tragedy. In 1976, his older brother, Yonatan Netanyahu, was killed while leading the Entebbe raid in Uganda, a rescue mission that freed Israeli hostages. Yonatan's death became a central part of Benjamin Netanyahu's personal and political identity, reinforcing his hardline approach towards security and terrorism. After leaving the military, Netanyahu returned to the US for his studies and later worked in business, but his true passion remained politics. His fluency in English and deep understanding of American culture helped him quickly rise in Israel's political ranks. In the 1980s, he was appointed as Israel's ambassador to the United Nations, where he became known for his aggressive and uncompromising rhetoric against Palestine and Iran. His tenure at the UN laid the groundwork for his political career, proving that he could stand his ground in high-stakes diplomatic confrontations. By 1993, Netanyahu had taken control of the Likud party, and in 1996 he became Israel's youngest ever prime minister at the age of 46. His first term, 1996 to 1999, was characterized by economic liberalization policies and a rejection of the Oslo Accords, which had aimed to establish peace between Israelis and Palestinians. He took a hard stance against negotiations with the Palestinian Authority and refused to engage in meaningful dialogue toward a two-state solution. This made him immensely popular among Israel's right-wing factions, but equally despised among those who sought a diplomatic resolution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Netanyahu lost power in 1999, but made a dramatic return to the political stage in 2009, launching what would become one of the longest tenures of any Israeli prime minister. From 2009 onwards, he shaped Israel's policies with an increasingly nationalistic and militaristic approach. He strengthened alliances with right-wing movements worldwide, particularly with the Republican Party in the United States, where he found strong allies in Donald Trump and other conservative figures. His economic policies were praised for boosting Israel's tech sector, but his leadership was also marked by increasing authoritarianism, suppression of political dissent, and corruption scandals. Netanyahu has been investigated multiple times for bribery, fraud, and breach of trust. In 2019, he was indicted on corruption charges, making him the first sitting Israeli prime minister to face criminal prosecution. He repeatedly denied wrongdoing, framing the investigations as a political witch hunt orchestrated by his enemies. Despite this, his legal troubles continued to mount, with multiple court proceedings casting a shadow over his administration. However, it is his handling of the Israeli-Palestinian conflict that has drawn the most intense criticism. Netanyahu has long been a champion of aggressive military action against Gaza, repeatedly launching large-scale bombing campaigns that have resulted in the deaths of thousands of Palestinian civilians. His policies have been described by critics as a systematic campaign of apartheid and ethnic cleansing, with many accusing him of turning Gaza into an open-air prison. In the Arab world and among human rights organizations, he is often referred to as the Butcher of Gaza, due to the devastating military campaigns carried out under his orders. His most recent war against Gaza, which began in 2023 following attacks by Hamas, escalated tensions to an unprecedented level. Israeli airstrikes flattened entire neighborhoods, killing thousands of civilians, including women and children. The sheer scale of destruction drew widespread condemnation from human rights groups, with some calling for international legal action against Netanyahu for war crimes. The Turkish president Recep Tayyip Erdogan publicly branded him the Butcher of Gaza, a title that quickly spread across the Muslim world. The turning point came in 2024, when the International Criminal Court, ICC, issued an arrest warrant for Netanyahu on charges of war crimes and crimes against humanity. This was a historic decision, as Netanyahu became the first sitting leader of a Western-backed nation to face such charges. The ICC warrant accused him of authorizing indiscriminate attacks against civilian populations, violating international laws, and perpetuating collective punishment in Gaza. In response, Netanyahu dismissed the ICC as biased and politically motivated, refusing to acknowledge its legitimacy. The United States, under President Donald Trump, responded by imposing sanctions on the ICC's chief prosecutor, Karim Khan, further deepening the divide between international law and political power. While the ICC warrant made Netanyahu an international pariah in the eyes of much of the world, his position in Israel remained relatively secure due to strong right-wing support. However, protests erupted across Israel, with even some members of the military questioning his leadership. Domestically, Netanyahu's power has been tested by political infighting and mass demonstrations. Many Israelis, particularly in Tel Aviv and other liberal cities, view him as a corrupt leader who has hijacked democracy for his own benefit. Protests against his judicial overhaul plan in 2023 saw hundreds of thousands of Israelis take to the streets, accusing him of attempting to dismantle the country's democratic institutions to protect himself from prosecution. His family has also been a source of controversy. His wife, Sarah Netanyahu, was convicted in 2019 for misusing public funds, further fueling public resentment. Their son, Yair Netanyahu, is notorious for inflammatory remarks on social media, often engaging in conspiracy theories and spreading hate speech. The Netanyahu family's reputation for arrogance and entitlement has only added to the deep divisions within Israeli society. As of 2025, Netanyahu continues to serve as Israel's prime minister, but his grip on power is slipping. He remains defiant, refusing to step down despite growing domestic opposition and international isolation. His administration is doubling down on militarization, continuing settlements in the West Bank, and maintaining a hardline stance against Iran. Whether he will be forced out of office by legal troubles, political pressure, or international intervention remains uncertain. Benjamin Netanyahu's legacy is one of war, controversy, and ruthless political survival. To his supporters, he is a leader who has protected Israel from its enemies, strengthened its economy, and refused to bow to international pressure. To his critics, he is a war criminal, a corrupt autocrat, and a man responsible for untold suffering. Whatever the future holds for him, one thing is certain: Benjamin Netanyahu's name will forever be associated with one of the most turbulent eras in Middle Eastern history.